I've taught hundreds of students, and when it comes to chord changes, many of them, if not all of them, suffered from a very similar problem, which is speeding up their chord changes. In this video, I'm going to address what their main problem was and how to fix that. Before we get started, if you like my style of teaching, you should check out my online guitar mentorship in the link in the description. The way it works is you send in questions, clips you're playing, and I get back to you within 24 hours with a tailored response on exactly what I think you need to do next to improve. If you think you need help in your playing and you want someone to be there with you every step of the way, hit the link in the description. Anyway, onto the video. Okay, so why do people have trouble speeding up their chord changes? Okay, so let's say you can play your open chords and you can play them pretty cleanly. So I could play, for example, a C chord and a D chord. Now, before we think about chord change speed, we need to make sure that you can actually play these nice and cleanly. So what we're looking for here is 80%. So if I hit a C chord, obviously, I want every string to ring out. If I'm missing one, it's not the end of the world. That still sounds like a C chord to me. So you need to be in that place before we think about speeding these up. But let's assume you can play your chords nice and cleanly. The problem that most of my students faced was they could play their chords cleanly, but they weren't directing their practice in the right way. If you can play your chord cleanly, you don't need to work on that anymore. What you need to work on is getting to that chord quicker. How do you work on that? You practice faster and you allow for more mistakes. If you know you can play the chord cleanly, you just need to work on getting to that chord faster. So how does this translate into an actionable exercise? Well, we need to throw perfectionism out the window and allow for some more mistakes in our chord change practice. I'm going to take that C to D change, but I'm going to play it pretty much as fast as I can. Now, I've done that a million times, so I can play it pretty cleanly. For anyone who's less comfortable with that, it might sound more like that, or even that. That's okay. If you're doing that, it means you're pushing the speed. Remember, you can play these chords cleanly. If you can do this, then well done, you've got that, but we need to work on speed now. So you need to take the chord change that you're struggling with and practice it quickly. You're going to make lots of mistakes. There's going to be loads of these sounding kind of things, but playing nice and cleanly like this is the equivalent of training for a sprint by running marathons. Yes, you're running, but you're not doing the type of running that you need to practice to win that race. Now, whenever I tell my students to go home and practice this, I'm sure they attempt to, but when they come back to me, I can always spot that they've just dropped that speed of chord change a little bit. We need to just keep it nice and high. So one way you can think about keeping your chord change speed high is using your right hand to dictate the speed. So you can decide, okay, my chord speed change is going to go like this. It's going to be 1, 2. And that's how quickly I'm going to hit the strings. I'm just going to go 1, 2. So I have to hit chord 1 and chord 2 at that rate. You can go, okay, I'm going to go a bit faster now. Don't be disheartened if you make lots of mistakes or if you miss a few strings. It's not the end of the world. Because what you'll notice is you might miss a string or you might hit the wrong note, but you'll notice that you probably hit the same wrong note or you miss the same string each time. This is your kind of inaccuracies and insufficiencies coming through as you build speed. And this is good because it's highlighting where you're struggling with that chord change. If you just practice perfectly every time, you're never going to know what it is that's causing you to struggle at speed. If you practice at speed, not only do you just get more comfortable moving at that kind of speed, and regardless of whether you hit the chord, you just feel better doing it, but also you're able to see exactly how your hand moves. Like I said, if you do this 20, 30, 40 times, you'll start to see the same mistakes happening. And then your brain can start to hone in on what's happening and start to correct it. I would say as a good rule of thumb, aim for 60 to 80% accuracy on your chords when practicing at this kind of higher speed. So if I hit a C chord, if I miss the last 2 strings and I just get that, it's okay for now. We obviously want to get the full thing, right? But one thing at a time. This is really uncomfortable for a lot of players, particularly the ones that are seeking to do things properly because they don't like making mistakes. But the fact is, if you want to get faster, you have to make those mistakes along the way. A good mindset is to imagine that between you and a perfect C to D chord change, there are 1,000 mistakes you have to make. And you can either make them all today or in the next week or so, or you can make them progressively over the next 6 months and not really feel like you're making progress. Let's just get those mistakes out of the way. Here's a quick added tip for you that actually is quite practically useful. Let's take that C to D chord change again. Commonly, particularly in acoustic kind of music, within a strumming pattern, something like this, on the final upstroke of the pattern, most guitarists actually just let go of the chord. So if I do it slowly, that upstroke just kind of keeps the volume nice and level, and it allows you just to keep the hand moving without thinking too much. So a way you can practice your chord changes as well is to do a downstroke on chord 1, an upstroke on the open strings, and a downstroke on the next chord. This doesn't work for every chord change, but most of the time you can get away with it, and it actually sounds quite human and quite natural to do. If you've taken all this on board, but you still think you're struggling to get the kind of timings right or really push the speed, just do things to a metronome. I'm just going to put the one on my phone here. Metronome Beats is the name of the app. I recommend it. I think it's pretty good. I'm going to do one chord every 2 clicks. That felt okay. Let's go a bit faster. And so on. You can just keep going. So that's a really good way of measuring your speed and your progress with your chord changes. Like I said, find that place where you really start to make quite regular mistakes. This might sound contrary to sort of a lot of advice about doing things properly, but I think you have to sit in that uncomfortable zone if speed is what you're looking to build. Let me know if you found this useful, and let me know how your chord changes get on in the comments below. Like and subscribe, all that business. And if you want to learn from me, hit the link in the description. If you feel like your chord changes are getting better and you want to learn a bit about the cage system and what I think is perhaps a slightly better framework than the cage system, check out this video here. Otherwise, I'll catch you in the next one.